Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is another edition of Darkness in Dublin Vampire Edition. Tonight, four members of the city are meeting at the Dublin Zoo in the office of Dr. Michael Brightman, PhD, MD, assorted titles and such. Once you guys can all arrive, but as you want. Michael will already be there at his desk working on his computer, signing some papers, that sort of thing. Sitting next to him, looking very patient, is a poodle. Michael, by the way, has his mask up, so he looks like an average, everyday, brown-haired, blue-eyed, glasses-wearing scientist. So I guess we could start with Robert, then Connor. Robert, then Liam, and then Brandon. You guys can file in one at a time at that. So
excellent.
Go ahead.
All right. Talbot walks in wearing his traditional Sikh gear. If you've never seen a Sikh, he has a turban on, loose-fitting clothing. He does have a very long beard, and his mustache feeds into his beard. And for whatever reason, he looks a little bit less kempt than he normally does. He kind of looks like he did not, comb his hair or get... He's dressed and everything, but he's not polished looking tonight.
Okay, Liam, you're next.
Connor would enter. He would be dressed in his usual formal attire. That's about it, to be fair.
Okay.
Sam will enter with Mask of a Thousand Faces on, wearing a fairly nice press suit. And you notice that if you listen very closely to when he enters the room, you can almost hear some flying or fluttering around of some sort of birds or bats when he enters and somewhere around the zoo. Sam gives kind of a nod to everyone.
Yes, everyone.
And he's like, "Gentlemen, good to see you all in good health." Well, mostly.
All right. Just to give you guys a basis of where he is, his office is in the Primate Enclave, which has all of the chimps, apes, monkeys, capuchins, things like that. Surprisingly enough, it does not smell bad in his office or in the area around his office.
And is it fairly quiet?
It is fairly quiet.
Mm.
You will notice that there are...
There are dogs.
What I was going to say is that in the Great Ape Enclosure, there's two apes, a male and a female, and they seem to be holding each other, swinging back and forth like they're dancing to some kind of music, which is an uncommon occurrence with apes. I don't think I have to tell you that. So, okay, so you guys all come into the office. Michael will look up and say, "Oh, good, everybody's here. I understand you guys needed to speak to us about something." He will reach down and he will lightly pat the poodle sitting next to him, which is like has a tongue lolled out and is kind of panting. It's by the way, it's not a small poodle. It's about the size of a miniature, which is like the middle-sized poodle breed.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you again, Doc. I know
Sam?
It's only been about a night, but how you holding up?
Oh, I suppose I'm holding up better than Ambrose and Hennessy at least, but we're here. How are you holding up?
Better, I have to admit. I wasn't for a while there, but now I think I'm doing all right now. That was a bit unexpected, I have to say, what happened.
Yes, it was. I've had my share of encounters with the Sabbat before, and that was something I did not expect at all. But we're speaking over the heads of our associates. Dr. Fletcher, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well, Doctor.
How goes the practice?
It goes well. Busy nights.
There was a Dr. Katrina Green in the area. She's member of Clan Toreador. I passed your name along to her because she's a GP as a referring surgeon, just in case she has any cases for you, that sort of thing.
Splendid.
She's quite lovely. I think the harpy is taken with her.
Most of the roses are quite lovely.
That's true. I wouldn't know. I don't tend to look at that. But I'm told she's attractive. He'll then look at Talbot and say, Talbot, I understand that you were the one most interested in speaking with us tonight.
Yes, that is a fact. I had several matters of interest. Sam and I have been talking about some things. I've been wanting to speak to Dr. Connor here. And I was curious how the overall, how can I put it, excursion to the docks went. I mean, there's scuttlebutt around the city, but I always like to hear from the horse's mouth.
Well, we haven't hit the docks yet. That's next. We took the suburbs and the train station.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't there, so.
No easy task.
No. Not when
Assault.
facing a child assault.
I was going to ask if the assault went well.
No casualties on our side, at least not from our group, but it wasn't easy.
We did lose about 8 members of Clan Nosferatu, part of the Seneschal's strike team into the suburbs.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Abdul.
You see Sam make a note on a notepad, and then he puts it away.
That is a considerable loss. I'm sorry for your clan.
Considering the strike team involved, it is absurd that we lost that many. The Zemise have war goals they call Vosht. These things are massive conglomerations of flesh and bone that are turned into kind of a gibbering onslaught of sharp things. Apparently there were multiples out there that the Seneschal and his team had to fight.
That is disturbing.
I pray I never have to see one.
Well, they're weak to fire and they're fairly slow. So if you don't have fire, it might be a good idea to run. I put about 4 or 5 shots in it with a high caliber rifle. Didn't even flinch it.
If they weren't forbidden by Justicarial law, I'd suggest white phosphorus, but they're forbidden by Justicarial law.
Yeah, Sam kind of looks at you and gives that kind of, yep, I know, look.
I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, apparently.
Nope. Not in the slightest.
We were given a device of unholy power by the Infernalist, known as, I'm not going to say his name out loud because you might show up. That would have been able to stop certain magical things from happening that the Zemise apparently has. However, it was only in the hands of a Tremere, and using it would have consigned us to aiding an Infernalist, which is not only a breach of the Masquerade, but is a violation of 5 different Camarilla laws.
I am pleased that you managed to avoid aiding an Infernalist.
It's always a pleasure to do that. He is still out there, and we have been able to determine that the death of the bishop will aid him in some way. So it's unfortunate that.
Hi kids, how's it going?
Hey Evan,
What's up?
alive.
I know. Hi live people. I've got a question. Is this like a super secret social, or can other people join?
No, it's a regular. It's at the office of Dr. Brightman at the Primate House at the zoo. So if they've asked to come, they can show up.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Continue.
Dr. Brightman, too. Not to get a little bit off subject here, but I have a message to pass on. Miss Monique wanted me to let you know that she is willing to aid you in any experiments or duties that you need. And she wanted me to pass that along to you.
Oh,
But
yes,
she was willing to aid us.
that's right. She wanted to. We were working on a joint venture for a social event for the zoo. It's slipped my mind a little bit because of everything that's been going on, but I do remember wanting to talk to her about that as well. All right. Just so you know, Shanna, we're at the office of Dr. Brightman at the Primate House of the Dublin Zoo. So that's where you would be going. It's currently closed, like, for the night. When you're on your way over there, when you pass the gorilla exhibit, there's a male and female gorilla that are slow dancing to some kind of music. So
Well, that
Evan
sounds like
knows what
fun.
what that's about.
It's clown shoes.
Yeah.
It's
If it
a
helps.
dance.
Hey, look, guys, I'm going to be the adorable cinnamon bun.
Yay, Sketcher!
Yay, Sketch is coming. Clan Nosferatu showing up in force.
I was going to say,
Jeez.
if it helps, so Shayna can have it in. Sketcher will be showing Shayna around the zoo.
Yay!
That'll work, yeah. Sketcher's been here multiple times. So, Tiger, just so you know, the scene is Dr. Brightman's office at the Dublin Zoo in the Primate House. There is a male and female gorilla slow dancing to music in one of the gorilla enclaves, or one of the gorilla enclosures. So
There are also bats. For whatever reason, there are bats.
Jones did not have any purpose for being here tonight, any good purpose. He just wanted to look at the gorillas.
nice. Oh, and in the office next to Dr. Brightman, there is a poodle. Unless you have Auspex. If you have Auspex, let me know.
Yeah,
Nope.
I have Auspex.
I have all specs.
It's not very good because Katya has shit empathy, but
Do you have over 5 in Auspex? Or do you have 5 in Auspex?
no. Her big one is Dominate, so.
Okay.
I
It's a
have
poodle.
4.
What?
I have 4.
Oh, it's a poodle.
That's depressing.
I have 0. Oh, it's a poodle. Okay.
All right, so Evan, do you want to have Sketcher showing Katya around, and then we can have Tiger show up?
Sketcher will enter into the office. Currently, he has a capuchin monkey kind of set on his head. The monkey appears to be chill with it.
Kind of will wave at Sketcher.
Hello. I didn't realize you had company, Doctor. I can go.
No, Sketcher, please. You are more than welcome here. This is actually a social gathering, and I would very much like you to be here for it.
Okay. You all know Katja von Essen, the regent of Plantry. I was showing her the animals.
What do you think of my little display here?
It's quite the interesting display. The gorillas seem to be having quite a fun time.
They're married now. It's okay. Whenever there's not, Kine around, I encourage the animals to be themselves, and he'll point to Lionel sitting on top of Sketcher's head.
But yeah. Okay.
Oh. He kind of stands out of the way just in time for Jones to arrive. Hi, Jones. Jonesy.
Yeah, Jones just kind of pokes his head in. So, Dr. Brightman, why are the... Oh.
The entire conclave just comes into Brightman's office tonight.
Oh, you have... Alright, sorry. He'll just kind of start slowly sliding his head out of the...
Oh, Jones, come in here. It's fine. It's a group gathering. People are just wanting to know, things that are going on, what happened at the train station, that sort of thing.
He slowly starts to move his head back in. It doesn't look like he's shifted his body at all. Like he just kind of poked his head in, and is now just kind of walking head first and slightly bent at the side.
Indeed, a meeting of the minds, so to speak.
The poodle will actually walk over to Sketcher, and then over to Jonesy, and then over to Sam, and then we'll sit behind Jones.
Will the poodle allow me to pet him, or is that no?
This poodle will allow you to pet them.
Pet the poodle.
Okay, it doesn't feel like a poodle to you.
I was going to say, bear in mind, guys, unless you have at least Animalism 1 or the Inoffensive to Animal merit, animals will instinctively not like you.
Yeah, I have Animalism 1, so.
I am just pointing it out for posterity.
Right.
I believe the only person in this room who does not have a dot of animalism is Katya.
Yeah.
No, I don't have animalism.
Oh, my bad. 2 people in this room do not have a dot of animalism.
I actually went the other way. I have a flaw where people don't like to be around me either.
Well, you're doubly fucked. But Sketcher he bumps his head to the side as he removes his sketch pad or his digital sketch from the inside of a small messenger bag that he has slung around his waist, and he says, Dr. Brightman, my father had a message that he wanted me to relay to you.
Oh, please. Yeah, how's he doing? I haven't been by yet to check on his bandages.
He is fine. As he said himself, it was mostly superficial. But there is a new Malkavian in the city who goes by the name of Sebastian. The prince has recognized that he has the right to stay in the domain, but he is and there's a visible kind of that goes through Sketcher. He is a known Diablerist, and if there is anything, if there is, he wants to make sure that there are no incidents like that take place here.
Well, I'd like to meet him.
Of course you would.
If he shows up, we will make sure that he behaves himself, especially since this is on my domain, and I do not tolerate such things on my domain.
That's all he wanted me to pass on.
I'll make sure that the rest of the clan Nosferatu is aware of this person's presence and to be aware of them as well. Lena's going to look over at Sam and Jonesy and say, "You both heard that, right?"
Jones just is poking at his phone, and he'll just kind of nod idly.
Sam will nod. Of course.
That should take care of everybody except for the rest of us underground. So,
I sent a message through the group chat.
thank you very much, Jones.
I was going to say, everyone who's in the Nosferatu WhatsApp, your phone things.
You have 99 unread messages.
Connor is amazed there's a WhatsApp group for the clan.
Of course there is. It just happens to run on ShrekNet. What's the problem?
He's just like genius. Why didn't I think? Oh, I'm the only Bruhar in the city.
Yeah, Katya's probably thinking the same thing. It's like, I'm going to have to set one of these up. Though I'll have to figure it out first.
That will mean you have to add Stelheim.
No.
The Tremere BloodNet net. It's the app which gives you all the thaumaturgy you need.
To have a group chat, all of your clan mates need to actually like each other.
Ooh, low blow, low blow.
All right, let's kind of pull it back into character then. So we were just Sam and I were just explaining basically what happened at the train station. Jones, is there anything you want to add in there?
I may have tackled the sheriff off a train.
Yeah.
To be fair to Jones, the person that he tackled the sheriff away from was catching fire and about to explode.
Yeah. It was to help out another kindred. You're perfectly in the right.
I still feel bad about it.
The sheriff is near explosions very often.
It's a occupational hazard from what I understand.
For the record, none of you. Actually, yeah, no, there's only one person in the game who is the high specs, and that is Bishop. He's not here. You guys will see this entity. She appears sitting on Dr. Brightman's desk.
Is
Oh,
that
hi.
13 or is that somebody else, Evan?
That is not 13. This is a very, very seldomly seen Nosferatu. You guys have met her a handful of times, but she is, let's put it like this, she's not in the WhatsApp.
Yep, my
This
ribs
This
are
is
still sore.
the second time Katya has seen her.
She is basically, Hennessy is is unquestionably the eldest Nosferatu in the city. She comes a second, in the sense she's still an elder, but she's younger than Hennessy. Everyone simply calls her Whisper.
Whisper, I'll listen to you to show up. Is everything okay?
She kind of cranes her neck back to look at Brightman, and she says, "Oh, that usually depends." She stands up and kind of brushes herself off. She's wearing, once again, obviously a she, but she's wearing kind of a very oddly upmarket tuxedo / business suit. She straightens the tie and she says, "You've all caused quite a bit of stir. I really wanted to come and see what all the hubbub and the fuss was about." And for the record, yes, both of her eyes are different colors, which is slightly odd.
What can I say? It's what we do.
Uh-huh. Right. Mm-hmm. I've been working. Oh, God. Why are the gorillas dancing?
Oh, they're married now.
I understand. Anyway, I've been working to decode some of the communications that are being sent from what I'm lovingly referring to as the Rumba ship from hell back to Mexico City. It seems as though, from what I've been able to ascertain, for the record, whoever the fuck their cryptographer is, he's terrible. But I've been able to ascertain, in every port, they're doing something rather odd. They've stopped so far at 7 ports. That's the reason they're moving so slowly. They've been apprehending a single individual in each port, all of whom are female, the age of 18, and who were born on, for some reason, June the 30th.
Well, that doesn't sound like a thaumaturgy ritual or anything.
Primogen Von Essen, that is your clan's area of expertise. We did hear something odd from the Infernalist when he showed up to try to get us to do something stupid. And he said that they were attempting some kind of rite, and that's why they were moving so slowly.
Let me see what I can find in the library, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Is there
That
anything else?
information is definitely helpful. We were waiting on more information on things that were going on, such as that could give us some idea of what they're planning.
It's an unusual circumstance where they're taking one person age 18, born on May 30th.
And
June
all
30th.
female.
Oh, June 30th? I thought you said May 30th.
No. Oh, sorry, I fucked that up. They're born on the, my apologies, I screwed that up. They are born on the spring equinox. There we go. I misread my own name.
Equinox. Okay. So the vernal equinox. Any information you can glean with that, with the information that's been provided, would be helpful. The Infernalist seemed bemused that they were doing that.
He seems bemused by a lot of things.
And to be fair, even before he was an Infernalist, Aishar was a dick.
Considering what he did to our clan and the clan Gangrel and even the Fiends, bit more than a dick.
What did he do? I'm not familiar with him at all.
You know what gargoyles are, Jones?
Okay, I think I'm getting the picture. All right.
He is the man who created the ritual that allowed gargoyles to come into existence.
Right. All right. Gotcha.
Needless to say, on a scale of 1 to we want to kick him to death, he's at a we want to kick him to death.
Can I join in?
Yes.
Yay.
Perfectly all right. I actually have to back out, so Sam will stand up, put on his hat, say, he'll give Dr. Brightman a note. It basically says that if he needs any help with experiments, Sam is willing to help out, and they're willing to put heads together whenever he's got some spare time. But a issue has come up that Sam cannot ignore anymore, so he has to go deal with that. So Sam will put on his hat, give everyone a salute, and leave.
Some other time, Sam.
Have a good evening, Sam.
You too, Doctor.
Okay, so that's interesting. I understand that he's going to look over to Katya. I understand that your elder Stahlheim performed some kind of special invocation at the train station.
Oh, the one where he killed 21 people.
Trying not to think about that, but I believe so. I wasn't there for it. Fortunately, I'd already been recalled back to Dublin.
Yeah, I saw it. It was made of all types of fucked up.
What a charming man.
Yes, charming is probably not the word I would use, but
I will point out, though, in his defense, I was literally seeing people being swallowed up and crushed by the ground. So,
Yeah.
Mother Nature must be hungry.
Well, before Hennessy showed up and donkey punched the Zemise into oblivion, the fiend was summoning lava to consume us. I tried to buy some time. Seems like all I'm good at anymore is hiding and talking.
I mean, if it helps, you do at least one of those incredibly well.
I'm almost afraid to ask which one you're saying.
She smiles. She's got very, very pointed teeth. But she says, needless to say, we've been making... I'm not going to say we've been making headway in Waterford. It's more so the fact that we keep trying to advance and getting a little bit further, at which point we're swarmed by masses of, oh my god, why? And proceed to lose all the ground that we've gained because, oh my god, why?
Fiendish meat sticks are scary.
The one big problem is that from what I was able to determine, while the Zemise bishop doesn't have total knowledge of what's going on, he seems to know a great deal and has the ability to move as if he were wind.
That is some thoroughly Naruto-esque shit right there.
Please
don't
tell
Moving like
me.
wind.
Thanks to Enigma, I actually understood that reference.
Sorry, the
yeah,
two of
Katya.
Sorry, hang on. What did you say, Liam?
God, I was about to say, please don't tell me he extends his arm out behind him.
No. And Robert, what did you say?
I just asked if he could be more specific about moving like wind.
Tiger, what'd you say then?
Jones just nodded in agreement at the Naruto comment.
Okay. To Robert, there was a gust of wind and he was there. There was a gust of wind and then he was gone.
Yep, that's like a gust of wind. You're right.
I like him. He can stay.
Sounds like my mortal wife with the kids.
She casually looks him up and down. He never had kids.
Yeah, they weren't my thing.
Katya, I think you were about to say something.
No, it was merely my confusion on Naruto?
Yes,
worry about
I can thank Enigma for the fact that I understand it now, but it's a animation show made in Japan that involves child soldiers being forced to fight wars.
They're
Yeah,
ninjas,
enough said.
first of all.
That's not uncommon.
Oh, sorry.
Enough
I should actually point out, if anyone is interested, Whisper is Enigma's sire. Just about
Oh,
anyone.
that's good to know. Yeah. What'd you say, Tiger?
So they're ninjas, first of all.
Did you say child soldiers sent? It sounds like the entirety of the spat as a whole.
Well, they're trained to be ninjas, but they fight wars. So
That's more than the Sabat get, I suppose.
Yes,
I-
Lord, they've never been trained.
I don't know. I've run into a couple of Sabat during my scouting missions that seem to think they were ninjas.
Ah, yes, the infamous Sabat fail ninjas.
Were they humming theme songs?
I didn't get close enough to find out. I just saw them trying to run up walls.
I have in fact met at least one gangrel who was convinced he was Batman. But then again, I may have used Dominate to convince him he was Batman. That's neither here nor there. We're moving on.
Running up walls, that's just parkour, right? I mean,
From a stand, not from a run.
But yeah, let's just say she hops down from Brightman's desk at this point, kind of, smooths out her coat, smooths out her jacket. I had to take over a lot of the actual running of the day-to-day affairs of the information network since Hennessy has decided to fuck off and go play hero, but c'est la vie.
The poodle will actually walk over to Whisper and look up at her.
Yo, poodle.
I'm sure that Whisper has enough aspects. It's Queenie.
Mm-hmm.
Poodle just looks at you, wags its tail, and pants.
In your eye, crocodile.
I'm not going to ask.
Hey, show them what your pet actually is, Doc.
All right, I'll release the obfuscate, and it's a 30-foot tall crocodile, a 30-foot long crocodile that looks massive and smells of ham.
it's
Jones,
a big office.
Jones looks at it. How did you?
I do not believe for 1 second that you fit in that doggy bed.
How did you get her in there?
He's going to point over to the side wall, which actually has a massive gate system for moving animals in and out.
Why is that in an office?
I was going to say, I didn't think she would fit through the door.
There's times when I have to actually inspect the animals in a controlled environment. So
Back in
why
the day,
that's-
my office had a cadaver chute. That
I
was
don't
fun.
have one of
That's-
those, fortunately.
That's not concerning at all.
If at first you don't succeed, throw the corpses down the Okay, I'm sold.
Did anyone ever climb back up the cadaver shaft? That's what you have to.
That did happen one time.
Did you have to get a plunger?
Yes, actually. Were you there?
If Whisper was, you would never know.
You know what? She gives you a fist bump.
Fist bump.
Does Connor accept the fist bump?
Oh, Connor.
Connor accepts the fist bump.
Connor, you get a fist bump with 6 dots of potence.
Crack. Oh wait, if he has enough potence, it might mitigate.
Just create a shockwave.
But basically, boop.
Yeah, suffice to say, Burke and Hare did not do their job. I'll carry that. I will respect you if you got that.
I did. But then again, I'm also close enough to Britain.
That is true.
Alright. Talbot, was there any other questions you had?
Not for the group as a whole. I was going to ask our friend Connor here. That saber type weapon you carry, that's from Persia, yes?
Turkey.
Oh, turkey. It's similar to a scimitar.
Yeah, Killage.
Yeah,
Nice.
I carry a tulwar, and a lot of people mistake it for a scimitar. So when I noticed you carrying that, I said, "Yeah, I'm going to ask him about that when things calm down."
On the side
like
note,
things
Sketcher is currently feeding Queenie ham. Continue.
Queenie is enjoying the ham.
I like things with heavy cutting power.
Whisper will simply say, "That's what she said."
I like you a lot.
I'm the sarcastic Nosferatu. People tend to.
That's a good nickname, though, Whisper. That's a good nickname.
It's generally because I listen to all of the whispers, and I tend to know rather a lot of interesting things.
I thought you talked real quietly.
Doesn't
Often-
quite seem so.
She shrugs. Sometimes a whisper is more dangerous than a shout.
Fair enough.
For the record, fuck it, yes, this character totally has dangerous, or what was it, ruggedly bad looks. And she smiles.
Nice.
But no, ultimately, it works out pretty well. I leave Hennessy to do the politics, and I just do my, shall we say, listening.
It's an important job. You do a lot of code breaking then, Whisper?
And that's more my childer's area of expertise, but I speak 16 languages.
Let me guess, would that be Enigma?
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be correct on Enigma. Yeah.
Enigma is indeed my kid.
I like the name for a codebreaker.
I mean, most of us Nosferatu take on aliases. It's just easier.
Personally, I would have gone with Bletchley.
I'm probably one of the few that don't, mostly because, well, I work damn hard for my degrees.
Well, you and Hennessy don't.
You could still be Doctor and then whatever your nickname is.
I mean, did you know Abdul's name isn't Abdul?
I knew that, yes.
Of
He
course
doesn't. He doesn't pass it around though.
No.
So let's see.
Okay. Say lovey. Easy come, easy go. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Little cliched there. I expected better from you, Whisper.
Eh. I've lived an awfully long time. If I had to hold up to everyone's expectations, life would be entirely unlivable.
That's true.
Hmm.
One thing we did find out that is interesting, though, is that it seems like the bishop puts a lot of Dead Man Switch detonators inside of inside of his people. Did you notice when you were fighting the Vosges? Did you notice if any of them suddenly went up in flame?
No one else was here when the Vosges were fought, Brett.
No, I was.
Oh, you were. Continue.
Oh, that's right. Whisper didn't go with Hennessy on the fight. Do you know? We need to find out from the other members of Hennessy Strike Team if any of the war ghouls they fought went up in flame.
Well, if you men would like Dead Man Switches, I can certainly sort you out.
I would prefer not to. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't want. That doesn't sound good to me.
No, let's not say we did. Mm-hmm.
Jones kind of has like a thoughtful tilt of his head at that.
No, Jones,
Then
you are not becoming a walking, talking depository of TNT.
Well, not TNT. That's way too low grade.
If you could
You're
set
not-
up a Dead Man's Switch with a pint of blood, I mean, that might be good.
You're not sticking Semtex inside of yourself, Jones. Just because the spot does it doesn't mean everybody should do it.
You don't have to be cool. No peer pressure here, buddy.
I want to do it would be cool. Yeah.
Next step is to find the Semtex caches before we go after the docks.
Yeah, where the hell they got military-grade explosives is as yet beyond me.
I mean, that's one logical next step.
No, it's a pretty big next step because the bishop can crater Waterford whenever he wants.
Oh, cool. He can, like, mad king it.
Pretty much.
Isn't he the guy that made lava come out of the ground?
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
was
he really needs Semtex?
I was about to say the same thing.
There's a difference between a small area making the ground swallow people and create lava out of the ground, and then simultaneously detonating 7. How many were they, Evan? Like 13 caches? Detonating whole many caches while our people are still in there and blowing a crater into it the size of the moon.
I mean, that's a way of doing it, I guess.
You'll see alternate things to focus on, but not up to me. I'm just wandering through Dublin, hoping not to fall into lava.
I doubt the bishop has shown his whole hand. If there's one thing that life has taught me, or unlife, it's that always assume that those you are talking to or dealing with know something that you don't.
He seemed to think he knew more than certain things. He was always watching or something like that.
And how did that result? And how did that end?
With him getting donkey punched by Hennessy.
Did anyone catch that? Did anyone catch a video of that? That would be brilliant.
Unfortunately, I left my cell phone in my pocket.
Not only that, but I'm led to understand from what Enigma's told me, there's still some kind of residual field around that place. It fries mobile phone technology like that, like it's crispy fried duck. So apparently there's a lot of excess energy there. Fun.
Going to keep my Google Glass at home.
If you have a Google Glass, you are literally human trash and are dead to me.
I don't.
Good, good.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm too old for that shit.
We can socialize on a friendly level now.
Is it bad that I'm thinking 2 steps ahead of the death of the bishop and wondering what the hell is going to happen with the Infernalist when the bishop dies?
That's the smart thing to do.
I wish you were the only one thinking that far ahead. Especially with him showing up in random apartments.
Oh, you got a visit by Casper the Wicked Ghost?
I mean, is it
Yeah.
really random when you have to consider he still has some of Miss Stevenson's hand?
What?
How much of a hand?
He has Emily's hand?
Yeah.
Now that
Problem
is...
I'm not sure that's
Okay, so
who
I'm
he
gonna
was after.
give you kids a bit of a history lesson. A long time ago, in a galaxy far from now, I'm only fucking with you. Basically, there was a botched attempt by the reason that Emily turned away from being an anarch to joining us in the Ivory Tower was because she attempted to infiltrate with a group of other anarchs the library that was at that given time owned and operated by our darling, well, I'm going to call him the Jolly Green Fuckno because, you know, it makes sense. In that confrontation, Aishar apparently wanted, I don't know who this person is, some fuck-up named Tanner.
I've met Tanner. He's an anarch as well, and he is a bit of a fuck up. Do you remember when we all got hit and the Archon went down?
Yeah, I do.
He walked outside thinking he was invisible, and then got shot in the face by the paramilitary fuck ups that showed up and tried to kill us.
That'll do it. Anyway, apparently because that guy is so low blood, I would say reclaim the blood, but at this point we're literally talking about, the proverbial shit around the rim of the bowl of Cain, if you want to follow that whole mythos. But so yeah. Aishar wanted him for some kind of experimentation purposes. Emily tries to yank Kid out by scruff of neck. Aishar cuts off Emily's hand and collects the dust. Now, fast forward a little bit, we find out that Aishar is apparently using the remains of the dust to scry on Emily. So, well, Hennessy might have greenlit her immediate death. Just saying, we were rushed, but he greenlit it. Unfortunately, she had made her skidoo from the restaurant she was in with the prince by the time our agent got there to perform said execution. And presto, changeo, politics happened. She's now good again. But as long as Aishar exists and he still has her hand dust, he can pretty much perceive wherever the fuck she is.
What
How-
idea?
That is very unfortunate. I liked Emily. She saved
No.
my life.
That's a fantastic way to lead him into a trap.
There's something else, though, something that just recently happened. The mirror that was destroyed. Jones, you remember the mirror, right?
I don't want to talk about no mirrors.
Yeah, that
That's
mirror.
why he.
He took a shard of it so he can use...
Oh no,
You
it wasn't a
guys-
shard. It was the dust, the fragments of what was left of it off of Ambrose's coat.
Can he use that to work on the bishop? Or would he use that on Ambrose?
I can't be certain. I'm doing research into it to see what we can find.
How do we know the Infernalist isn't doing something similar with the Sabbat? Well, actually, now that I say that, that is a really dumb thing to say.
We were told by Jolly Green Yano that when the bishop dies, another seal will be broken for what Lord Fucknut's trying to do. And I can thank you, Whisper, for giving me that word.
Which,
You're welcome.
Well, does he actually have to die, though? I mean,
Do you really want to let him live?
well, conveniently, he's a vampire, so a piece of wood in his heart means he's still alive, but useless.
You are forgetting something. Do you have much experience fighting Zemis?
I was gonna say you act like his heart is still where you think it is.
Exactly.
It can be found.
trial and error. Mostly error.
You've heard of the Iron Maiden? Well, we got the Wooden Maiden.
There is still the possibility of him somehow escaping being staked or pretending to be staked and then coming back and engulfing us all in a volcano or some stupid shit like that.
The idea
Exactly.
of the idea
should
of a wood.
not.
If he can become heir, good luck staking him, or rather, impaling him. Just saying.
Yeah.
Have you ever had tried to have a sword fight with the wind? You don't normally win.
I mean, it depends how boring. It depends how boring was your childhood.
I grew up in a war zone.
Valid.
I did get some information before the fight that did kind of help. Apparently, the bishop can see through Obfuscate through some means that he has. In that he has been sending ghouls to fight those people with flamethrowers. Because apparently the ghouls wouldn't be able to see us, but all they have to do is spray and pray. Thank you, Enigma, for teaching me that little bit of knowledge. And we're on fire.
Before you decide to kill this dude, I would be quite interested if you could ask him where his buyer is.
Fire?
Flamethrowers, Semtex.
Oh, you mean his connection?
Yep, certainly. I've been wanting to get my hands on an old war relic.
Which one?
One from the Soviet era.
Oh, perfect. Tell me more.
I've been wanting to get my hands on a DP-28. Not the most graceful gun, but it does tend to make a mess. Also, you could eat your dinner off that. But I digress.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that some other time.
Hey Jones, how's it going?
It's going.
How much underworld influence do you have?
What's up?
How much underworld influence do you have?
I believe 2.
Well, if you're willing to burn one of your 2 uses of that, I can give you some information on where they're getting their weaponry.
Okay.
So, realistically, for the type of military grade shit they're getting, there's only 2 or 3 potential places it could physically be gotten on the black market, and only one of them currently operates in Dublin. That is buying surplus arms from Chinese arms manufacturers, and it just so happens that there's a certain group in the city who are known to do that. On the side, you might be having a punch-up with their leader on Saturday.
Jones will, after like Lowell's having the conversation, just kind of casually blur all that out while still looking at his phone.
With the exception of the fist fight that he's totally not having on
Right.
Saturday.
Yeah, because he doesn't know about that part.
So the Chinese are supplying them?
Japanese, technically.
Japanese.
Why would they involve themselves in kindred affairs? Isn't that a violation of... I mean, it's bad enough that our people are breaching the masquerade, talking to the mages, because I understand that's been happening, and talking to the werewolves.
Yeah, thank you. How have you ever met? How do you know Sideshow's a mage? Jonesy never said that.
Oh, never mind. Why would the Japanese be doing this? I mean, obviously they're using intermediaries, but this sort of thing in Dublin shouldn't happen, right?
Money?
Yeah, but
Or they're getting something out of it.
Money's the typical response from a moral that I find.
maybe we should plant Semtex under his place and blow it up.
Hey, now we're talking. Who we blowing
I
up
mean,
again?
I don't ever condone violence unless it's absolutely necessary, but I'm saying that if these people are sending the Sabbat things to blow us up, maybe turnabout's fair play.
And then we create a power vacuum in the underworld, and the street falls to mortal chaos of multiple games trying to get out on top.
Did I hear right that the Zamisi has a castle?
Yes. A castle that cannot be penetrated, apparently, by astral projection, as our sheriff found out.
Where the castle at? How far away is it?
I'll pull up a map of Waterford, and I'll show him where the castle's positioned.
Is it far from where, like Dublin?
About 2 hours away.
And how many hours?
2 hours.
2 hours, damn. That's quite a drive each night.
The thing is that even if we were to get there on foot, apparently there are about 12 or so of these Vosged creatures that surround it.
I'm just looking to buy a castle, really.
I thought you were talking about a grand assault against a creature of immense power.
Well,
I don't actually think you're allowed to be involved, are you?
If I get that castle,
I'm
I've been
pretty
wanting to
sure
buy a
any
castle for a
fight.
while.
I'm
The
pretty
castle
sure.
is for the record, the castle is owned and operated by the National Trust and is not for sale.
I'm also relatively sure that if any fight goes down there, the castle's not going to be left standing, much to the dismay of the Irish people.
Now wait a minute. There's no, you don't have to knock over a castle now.
I'm not saying we'll knock over the castle. I'm saying he'll do it in spite.
Oh, now that's terrible. Item of cultural significance like that.
I mean, that sort of thing doesn't mean much to the fiends, from what I understand. Unless it's their property, and then they get all bent out of shape over it.
Are you telling me he's renting?
From what I understand about the situation in Waterford, odds are good he's there and they can't do anything about it. Hey, Jonesy.
Hmm.
Is there a way to track how they're supplying the munitions to the Sabbat, or is it safe to assume they've already made all their deliveries?
I can put feelers out there and see, but can't promise anything.
Any information you can get would be appreciated. I know it's not by the train, thanks to certain things I've done, but if they're using the water, that could be why we need the docks more. Well, we need the docks for when the party boat USA shows up from Mexico City.
If they're using the docks, they probably won't be for very long because of the massive amount of heat that's on it. Well, with the quarantine.
Yeah. Anyway, was there anything else I'm forgetting about?
No, I think that's all good.
I'm just glad I got to meet Whisper.
Well, enjoy the zoo. I've got a little bit of work to finish up before I can actually do anything remotely fun today. I have to update some immunization records, and what else was I supposed to do? Oh, Sketcher, you want to show them around the place a little bit?
Oh, I can.
I appreciate it. You're a very good person, Sketcher.
He kind of looks at Katya and is like,
Do you want to see the reptile house? I like the snakes.
Oh, Sketcher, I'll say, everybody close your eyes for a moment.
Jones will close his eyes.
As well, Katya.
Talbot, do you close your eyes?
I suppose so.
All right. The other Nosferatu I don't really care about, but I will throw Mask of 1,000 back onto Queenie and say, can you take Queenie to the reptile house? She gets lonely sometimes.
Oh, sure.
it's kind of interesting. He stands on the back of what looks like he's hovering on the back of a. He looks like he's standing on the back of a poodle as the poodle walks him out.
That poodle's got a lot of potence.
Alright, so I actually need to get to bed, so I'm going to close up here. If you guys want to continue, the zoo will be open for anybody that wants to hang out in it.
And with that, we end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.